Good morning. This is Kim Blaylock with SDG Bible Study. That's the SOLI Deo Gloria Bible Study coming to you on this Monday morning, May the 5th, 2025. I hope everyone is doing well and hope everyone is ready for the coming week and ready for a new day and a new day of reading from the Everyday Gospel by Paul David Tripp. We're going to be in 3 chapters this morning. We're going to be in First Chronicles chapter 22, 23, and 24 this morning. So join me as we read God's Word together. First Chronicles chapter 22. Then David said, "This is the house of Yahweh God, and this is the altar of burnt offering for Israel." So David said to gather the sojourners who were in the land of Israel, and he appointed stone cutters to hew out stones to build the house of God. And David prepared large quantities of iron to make the nails for the doors of the gates and for the clamps, and more bronze than could be weighed, and timbers of cedar logs beyond number. For the Sidonians and Tyrians brought large quantities of cedar timber to David. David said, "My son Solomon is young and inexperienced, and the house that is to be built for Yahweh shall be highly exalted, for a name and beauty throughout all lands. Therefore, now I will make preparation for it." So David made ample preparations before his death. Then he called for his son Solomon and commanded him to build a house for Yahweh, the God of Israel. And David said to Solomon, "My son, I had it within my heart to build a house to the name of Yahweh, my God. But the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, You have shed much blood and have waged great wars. You shall not build a house for my name, because you have shed so much blood on the earth before me. Behold, a son will be born to you, who shall be a man of rest. And I will give him rest from all his enemies on every side, for his name shall be Solomon. And I will give peace and quiet to Israel in his days. He shall build a house for my name, and he shall be a son to me, and I will be a father to him. And I will establish the throne of his kingdom over Israel forever. Now, my son, Yahweh be with you, that you may be successful, and build the house of Yahweh your God, just as he has spoken concerning you. Only Yahweh give you insight and understanding, and give you command over Israel, so that you may keep the law of Yahweh your God. Then you will succeed if you are careful to do the statutes and the judgments which Yahweh commanded Moses concerning Israel. Be strong and courageous. Do not fear nor be dismayed. Now behold, with great pains I have prepared for the house of Yahweh 100,000 talents of gold and 1,000,000 talents of silver, and bronze and iron beyond weight, for they are great in quantity. Also timber and stone I have prepared, and you may add to them. Moreover, there are many of those who do the work with you, hewers of stone and craftsmen of stone and wood, and all men who are wise in every kind of work. Of the gold, the silver, and the bronze, and the iron, there is no number. Arise and work, and may Yahweh be with you. David also commanded all the officials of Israel to help his son Solomon, saying, Is not Yahweh your God with you? And has he not given you rest on every side? For he has given the inhabitants of the land into my hand, and the land is subdued before Yahweh and before his people. Now give your heart and your soul to seek Yahweh your God. Arise, therefore, and build the sanctuary of Yahweh God, so that you may bring the ark of the covenant of Yahweh and the holy vessels of God into the house that is to be built for the name of Yahweh. Now to chapter 23. Now David became old and full of days, and he made his son Solomon king over Israel. And he gathered together all the leaders of Israel with the priests and the Levites. And the Levites were numbered from 30 years old and upward, and their number by census of man was 38,000. Of these, 24,000 were to direct the work of the house of Yahweh, and 6,000 were officers and judges, and 4,000 were gatekeepers, and 4,000 were praising Yahweh with the instruments which David made for giving praise. And David divided them into divisions according to the sons of Levi, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Gershon, of the Gershonites, were Laden and Shimei. The sons of Laden were Jehiel the first, and Zetham and Joel, 3. The sons of Shimei were Shilemoth and Haziel and Haran, 3. These were the heads of the fathers' households of Laden. The sons of Shimei were Jahath, Zena, Jeus, and Beriah. These 4 were the sons of Shimei. Jahath was the first, and Ziza the second, but Jeus and Beriah did not have many sons, so they became a father's household, one unit. The sons of Kohath, Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel, 4. The sons of Amram were Aaron and Moses, and Aaron was separated in order to sanctify him as most holy, he and his sons forever, to offer offerings up in smoke before Yahweh, to minister to him and to bless in his name forever. But as for Moses, the man of God, his sons were named among the tribes of Levi. The sons of Moses were Gershom and Eliezer. The son of Gershom was Shebuel, the chief. The son of Eliezer was Rehabiah, the chief, and Eliezer had no other sons. But the sons of Rehabiah were very many. The son of Izhar was Shelemith, the chief. The sons of Hebron were Jeriah the first, Amariah the second, Jehaziel the third, and Jechamim the fourth. The sons of Uzziel were Micah the first, and Ishiah the second. The sons of Merari were Mali and Mushi. The sons of Mali were Eliezer and Kish. And Eliezer died and had no sons, but daughters only. So their brothers, the sons of Kish, took them up as wives. The sons of Mushi, Mali, Eder, and Jeremoth, 3. These were the sons of Levi according to their fathers' households, even the heads of the fathers' households of those of them who were counted in the number of names by their census, doing the work for the service of the house of Yahweh, from 20 years old and upward. For David said, Yahweh, the God of Israel, has given rest to his people, and he dwells in Jerusalem forever. Also, the Levites will no longer need to carry the tabernacle and all its furnishings for its service. For by the last words of David, the sons of Levi were numbered from 20 years old and upward. For their station is to be on hand for the sons of Aaron with the service of the house of Yahweh, in the courts and in the chambers and in the cleansing of all holy things, even the work of the service of the house of God, and with the showbread, and the fine flour for a grain offering, and unleavened wafers, or what is made on the griddle, or what is well stirred, in all measures of volume and size. And they are to stand every morning to thank and to praise Yahweh, and likewise at evening, and to offer all burnt offerings to Yahweh on the Sabbaths, the new moons, and the appointed times, and the numbers set by the judgments concerning them continually before Yahweh. Thus they shall keep responsibility of the tent of meeting, and responsibility of the holy place, and the responsibility of the sons of Aaron, their relatives, for the service of the house of Yahweh. Now to chapter 24. Now the divisions of the sons of Aaron were these. The sons of Aaron were Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. But Nadab and Abihu died before their father and had no sons. So Eleazar and Ithamar ministered as priests. And David was Zadok of the sons of Eleazar, and Elimelech of the sons of Ithamar, divided them according to their assignments for their service. And more chief men were found from the sons of Eleazar than the sons of Ithamar. So they divided them thus. There were 16 heads of fathers' households of the sons of Eleazar, and 8 of the sons of Ithamar, according to their fathers' households. Thus they divided by lot, the one as the other, for there were leaders for the sanctuary and leaders for God, both from the sons of Eleazar and the sons of Ithamar. Shemaiah, the son of Nethanel, the scribe from the Levites, wrote them down in the presence of the king, the princes, Zadok the priest, Ahimelech the son of Abiathar, and the heads of the fathers' households of the priests of the Levites. One father's household was taken for Eleazar, and one taken for Ithamar. Now the first lot came out for Jehoiarib, the second for Jediah, the third for Haram, the fourth for Seoram, the fifth for Malchijah, the sixth for Mijamin, the seventh for Hakaz, the eighth for Abijah, the ninth for Jeshua, the 10th for Shechaniah, the 11th for Elishib, the 12th for Jakim, the 13th for Huppah, the 14th for Jeshabib, the 15th for Bilgah, the 16th for Immer, the 17th for Hezer, the 18th for Hapazizes, 19th for Pedathiah, the 20th for Jezekiel, the 21st for Jachin, the 22nd for Gamul, the 23rd for Deliah, the 24th for Maziah. These were their assignments for their service when they came to the house of Yahweh, according to the legal judgment rendered to them by the hand of Aaron their father, just as Yahweh, the God of Israel, had commanded him. Now the rest of the sons of Levi, of the sons of Amram, Shubal, of the sons of Shubal, Jediah, of Rehabiah, of the sons of Rehabiah, Ishiah the first, of the Israelites, Shelemith, of the sons of Shelemith, Jahath, the sons of Hebron, Jeriah the first, Amariah the second, Jehaziel the third, Jechamim the fourth, the sons of Uzziel, Micah, of the sons of Micah, Shamer, the brother of Micah, Ishiah, of the sons of Ishiah, Zechariah, the sons of Merari, Malai and Mushi, the sons of Jaziah, Beno, the sons of Merari. By Jaziah were Beno, Shoham, Zachar, and Ibri. By Mali, Eliezer, who had no sons. By Kish, the sons of Kish, Jeremiel. The sons of Mushi, Malai, Eder, and Jeremoth. These were the sons of the Levites according to their fathers' households. These also cast lots alongside their relatives, the sons of Aaron, in the presence of David the king, Zadok, Ahimelech, and the heads of the fathers' households of the priests and of the Levites, the heads of the fathers' households alongside those of his younger brother. Now to our devotional reading. Grace transforms us from being those who live for our own glory to being those who find joy in living for the glory and fame of another. The Apostle Paul writes, "He died for all, that those who live might no longer live for themselves, but for him who for their sake died and was raised." 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 15. Here we see the center of the great spiritual war that rages in and around us. Sin causes us to shrink our world down to the tiny self-focused scope of our wants, our needs, and our feelings. It really is true that the essence of sin is selfishness. We hold our wants, needs, feelings, dreams, and choices to be more important than God's existence, will, and glory. We ignore his existence, rebel against his commands, and step over his boundaries. We live as many sovereigns in constant conflict with other many kings and many queens. Think about times and situations when you have gotten angry. How much of your anger has anything whatsoever to do with God's law, glory, or kingdom? We tend to get mad at others not because they have broken God's law, but because they have offended the law of our wants, needs, and feelings. Only powerful, rescuing, and transforming grace can cause glory seekers to live for the glory of God. This is why Jesus had to come. He rescued us from external evil as well as from our bondage to ourselves. Saving grace rescues us from our glory and changes us so that we might live for God's glory. That rescuing grace operates in you and me today. This is why I am struck by David's zeal that the temple his son Solomon will eventually build must be a glory of God beacon. That is, a physical monument to the glorious glory of God. Whenever you encounter a biblical character or a person in your life whose goal is to show off the glory of God, you can be sure he or she has been visited by God's grace. Self-glory is natural for sinners, but it takes grace to have your heart consumed and your life shaped by the glory of God. Consider the words that expose David's heart. David said, Solomon, my son, is young and inexperienced, and the house that is to be built for the Lord must be exceedingly magnificent, of fame and glory throughout all the lands. I will therefore make preparation for it. So David provided materials in great quantity before his death. 1 Chronicles chapter 22, verse 5. David didn't want his fame to mar the temple. He wanted the temple to proclaim God's magnificence, fame, and glory. Notice the evangelistic zeal in David's heart. He wanted the temple to proclaim God's glory, not to Israel alone, but also to all the surrounding nations. Even though you and I are not building a temple, we can have the same zeal. Our God is glorious beyond imagination and is worthy of our surrendering every aspect of our lives to the proclamation of his glory. Let's read 2 Corinthians chapter 5, 11 through 15. So then, knowing the fear of the Lord, we persuade men, but we have been made manifest to God, and hope that we have been made manifest also in our consciences. We're not again commending ourselves to you, but are giving you an opportunity to boast of us, so that you will have an answer to those who boast in his appearance and not in heart. For if we are out of our mind, it is for God, or if we are of right mind, it is for you. For the love of Christ controls us, having concluded this, that one died for all, therefore all died. And he died for all, so that they who live would no longer live for themselves, but for him who died and rose again on their behalf. So the question is this morning, and I think it's something that we can ask of ourselves, are we living for Christ? Are we living for God? Or are we living for self? What consumes you? What motivates you? As Paul David Tripp said, we're all glory seekers. So are you seeking your own glory, or are you seeking God's glory? That is why I want to say every morning, SOLI DEO GLORIA. That's why the name of this little Bible study and reading is the SOLI DEO GLORIA Bible study. It's God who gets glory alone. I want that to be forefront on my mind every day. That's why I say it for myself, and that's why I say it for you. Only God gets glory. Don't be a glory seeker of self-glory. Seek the glory of God and bathe in it, bask in it, enjoy it. God alone deserves the glory. Hope that's your heart today, and I hope you have a blessed day, because truly, SOLI DEO GLORIA.